Namaste, Jai Shiva. Today we are going to talk about different types of mukti that have been described in various spiritual scriptures and books like that and texts like that, and all different kinds of moksha that one can attain. But the thing is that all these 4-5 different types of mukti or moksha, ultimate spiritual liberation, that has been defined into so many different texts and scriptures, they all are basically defined as one, by Maharshi Patanjali. So when it comes to yoga and for yogis, for serious seekers, the reason I say keep referring back to Yoga Darshan as a scripture is because it's simple and straightforward to understand. Nirvikalpi Samadhi is Nirvikalpi Samadhi. It is enlightenment, it is self-realization, the end state that one attains according to Maharshi Patanjali, which we describe as Kaivalyam, contains all of these types of muktis and mokshas that have been defined. But still at times a question comes like, what all is attained as a result of moksha or as a result of Nirvikalpa Samadhi? What is attained, what is not, and how? So usually all the gurus, most gurus, they do provide their own experience, right? That is the first-hand thing that a guru can give you, their own first-hand experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, or you can say enlightenment, or you can say self-realization, or the moksha, mukti. So they can give you that first-hand account of what they have experienced. But other than that, we also need to know how many sages and rishis and rishikas actually defined all these things in different scriptures, and what is written and why there was ever a need to define things like that. Now, in order to understand this video, the content of this video, it's better if you watch the previous video that was published last Monday, which was about God, Brahm, Parmatma, and Parmeshwara and Bhagwan. Even the title says Brahm, Paramatma, Bhagwan and God of that video. Why? Because then you will understand how we define Brahm, how we define functional aspect as Paramatma, and how we define Bhagwan, and that way it will be clear to you how one type of mukti is connected to one aspect of that one supreme divine being, how other types of mokshas or muktis or liberations are connected to the other aspects of one supreme divine being. It'll help you understand that. Okay, so let's start with first one, which starts with Brahma. So as we know, Brahma is the unmanifest, or you can say non-existent, or you can say Nirgun Nirakar, formless and gunas-less. Lack of gunas is there. Guna are 3, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Equilibrium of all 3 gunas is called as Prakriti. So none of that exists in the Brahma aspect of that one supreme divine being. Now there we are not talking about 3 different gods here or 3 different divine beings here. No, these are just the 3 different aspects or 3 different roles, 3 different aspect based on the functions that one supreme divine being has. Okay, so Brahma is the non-existent, formless, shapeless, and gunaless, and devoid of any gunas kind of an aspect of the Paramatma, of the one supreme divine being. And the moksha, the mukti, that is connected to usually the Brahma aspect is called as Sayujya Mukti. Okay, again I'll repeat the word, it's Sayujya Mukti. Okay, I'll write these terms in English in the description box so you can see how it is spelled and you do not have to worry about here and there. If you are trying to read them over the internet, you can. But the thing is that a lot of people, the modern translations, especially the English ones, are not 100% complete or concrete, you can say. So there could be a lot of debate between, oh, this is the good one, or that one is a lower one, that one is a higher one. Well, moksha is moksha. Okay? Once you get out of all the bandhanas, all the bondages, okay, and you reach Nirvikalpi Samadhi, and Nirvikalpi Samadhi completes, that is game over for you in the human body. Okay, so never ever get into the arguments or debate of whether this is a better one or that is a better one. Well, get one first. get to the level where you can reach Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Then you will know the truth. There is only, only a limited, through only limited number of words in the language we can describe all these things. There are no words there. You may see that how after Nirvikalpa Samadhi completes, how most of the people, those who have attained that, attained self-realization, attained Nirvikalpa, they kind of become speechless. Why is it so? There are no words to describe what they have what has happened to them. It's very hard to describe our own enlightenment experience or self-realization experience. And same is the case with the Samadhi. There's no way to, describe different in lot of words or try to understand them. If we want to understand them just mentally, it is not going to work. You have to attain those states in order to fully know what they are. Without fully reaching that level of meditation, that level of dhyana, dharana, and reaching those level of lower samadhis, there is no way to understand these things by just words and all. And you may think that, I need to know beforehand, otherwise when it happens, I will not know what will happen to me, what has happened to me. No, that is not true. Once these states are reached, once all this happens to you, you will, without any doubt, you will know what exactly has happened. And you may define it in different words and different things. Still, what exactly has happened, you will always know the technicalities of it, because it's your first-hand experience. I have people from a lot of different countries, basically, who do not even speak English is not their first language. So they are able to communicate with me in a very, broken kind of English. Yet, when they realize these states and stuff, it's such a thing that it's one-on-one connection between them and me. So even when they write about it in a broken English or some language, we exactly know, they know it and I know it, that they are what they are describing. It's that kind of a thing, So language is not needed, words are not needed once you realize these states. So don't pay too much attention to, the worldly explanation of these things. Yet from the superficial point of view, if you are trying to understand these things, and especially those of you who are already in the Savikalpa Samadhi states, if they want to learn little more about how different aspects of Paramatma work, this is less about what one attains as a mukti or moksha. This is again more about what are the different aspects. The amazing thing about this explanation, this whole video, is again about what one could get. What is Paramatma's different, or one supreme divine being's different aspects are. So you can have a different take, different perspective for this while watching this video, that you focus more on, it's just amazing to know that one supreme divine reality and what it can give to the seekers in the form of different kinds of moksha. So the first one is Sayujya Mukti. It is also called as Brahma Sayujya. Okay. So either we call it Sayujya Moksha, Sayujya Mukti, or we call it Brahma Sayujya. It's about complete absorption into the Brahm aspect of Paramatma, into the Brahm aspect of that one supreme divine being, into the Nirguna Nirakara aspect, complete absorption into him. Now, the moment, the day Nirvikalpa, when Nirvikalpa Samadhi starts, this is the state one gets into. Full self-absorption. And when we say self-absorption, we are referring to Paramatma, the Supreme Self. We are not talking about the self that we ourselves are, which means Atma. So in other words, you can say that in a way, Atma, though technically Atma exists, right? Even though the self-absorption, the Paramatma absorption in Brahma has happened, still Atma exists, but Atma is not perceiving himself or herself at all. What is being perceived by whom cannot be described, cannot be said. So it's mostly like, as if only the Brahm remains, nothing else. And if I tell you from, my own experience, then also it's like, for my Nirvikalpa Samadhi continued for like 73, 75 days, something like that. And no perception was there. No localized perception of there. As if I was not living at all. And when you come back from it, so what remains when you come back from it? It's like living beyond time and space. And the 100% completion of Sayujya Mukti happens when one leaves this physical body. So when Mahasamadhi happens, okay, when an enlightened one or self-realized person leaves their physical body, that is when 100% Brahma Sayujya happens. But till the time we have this body, our subtle bodies become expanded in such a way to the size of the cosmos, or you can say it's as if forever expansion has happened. At the level of cosmos, at the level of infinity, and that kind of an absorption is just makes you non-existent, basically, living beyond time and space, you can say. And because not only this physical body, we have subtle body sheets as well, right? Panchakoshas. So this is Annamaya Kosh, and then you have Pranmaya Kosh, and then you have Manomaya Kosh, and then you have Vigyanmaya Kosh, and then Anandamaya Kosh. So till the time the perception from all the four bodies is not there. Even the last perception of Anandamaya Kosh is not there in the Brahma Sayujya. When that state ends, when you come out of Samadhi, that is when you are bursting with bliss, bursting with Brahmananda, Ananda of Brahm, you are bursting in it. And what does mind have? Mind is non-existent during Brahma Sayujya, or you can say in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, or the enlightenment or self-realization, you can say. Mind is non-existent. In other words, mind exists, but because there are no spiritual ignorance or avidya-driven chitta vrittis there, so no drama, nothing. There's nothing, basically. And this is also the state when it ends, one is able to say that, nothing ever happened. This is where it comes from. It was started, everything was Paramatma or Brahma, and that unmanifest, and you just merged into that unmanifest. At least not from the physical body part, but from all your subtle bodies. You as an Atma Okay? Not that all your bodies start dissolving into Paramatma, no, into Brahman, no. You as an Atma has put their own 5 sheaths, body layers aside. So no perception is coming from any of those. Instead, Atma is directly in a merger or union with Brahma, the unmanifest. A lot of powers, supernatural powers, especially the powers of, becoming all-knower and having Brahmananda always. These are the things that you retain afterwards. Alright? And all functions of mind, chitta, all that stops. A person becomes, we call them Jnani afterwards. And this is the reason we call them all-knower or Jnani, or the wisdom holder, truth holder, beholder of truth, beholder of wisdom. We call them that because of this one union, right? Sayujya, moksha that one gets. And it completes when one leaves this physical body. All the subtle bodies are dissolved, and as a result, only the perception, then Atma's perception only happens through the Anandamaya Kosh, the last body layer, the last body sheath that we have. Once this body is gone, and Anandamaya Kosh is an impersonal one. It's not a personal thing that one has got. Anandamaya Kosh is one extended from Brahma, extended from Parmatma, extended from Brahma, one supreme divine reality or God, and that is same for everybody. It's not different, like I have a different physical body, you have a different physical body. It's not like that. So this is all about, Brahma, Mukti, or you can say Sayujya, Mukti. A person becomes Sarvajnani sort of. And any Shakti or all the Shaktis or everything is in the seed form. They're not in the manifest form. They're in the unmanifest form. So infinite realities, infinite siddhis, powers, or you can say infinite things, everything infinite can be manifested because it's the potential of manifestation itself. Brahm is the potential of manifestation. Now what can be manifested? Manifestation itself manifests before even manifesting anything. Right? So this is Sayujya Mukti. Now you will see a lot of people describing that or saying in lot of explanations or commentaries that Sayujya Mukti does not happen until one leaves the body, physical body. Yes, that is true. It does not complete. But through Nirvikalpi Samadhi, you do not Nirvikalpi Samadhi, you do not experience the unmanifest. The Shiva part, we call it Brahma, we call it Shiva, that which is not the unmanifest source of everything. You do not experience that. That would be foolishness to say that, right? So, no, it is experienced, and this is what it is. Now, the next one is the Paramatma aspect of Brahma. Paramatma, in last video, that I am referring to, I explained that, Paramatma is the functional aspect of Brahma. So, Brahma is the unmanifest aspect. And Brahma actually comes through Adi Shakti, through Para Shakti, which are Brahma's own Shaktis in the seed form. Okay? So potential form, there is a potential to manifest something. So those kind of seed Shaktis are called as Para Shakti or Adi Shakti, Adya Shakti. So these, through his own Shaktis, when Brahma becomes Paramatma, Paramatma means the functional aspect, the Sagun, Sakar aspect, and it has a form, it has a shape, it does the function of creation of the universe, sustenance of the universe, or destruction of the universe, and so many other things, right? All the functions that God performs, and all the different kinds of Shaktis, this Shakti, that Shakti, they all originate basically from the Parashakti or Adi Shakti aspects of the Shakti, of the Brahma himself. Brahma itself, himself, herself, whatever adjective you would like to put there, right? So these are so then becomes Paramatma. Brahma becomes Paramatma in the functional aspect, or you can say Parmeshwara, or some people call it Ishvara in the short. So this is the Sagun Sakara aspect. Now, in this aspect, Paramatma is the death of death itself. You see, we know death, we know destruction, but who is the destruction of the destruction itself, or the death of the death itself? Paramatma aspect of one supreme divine being is the death of the death itself. There is a beautiful shloka that describes all that, is Mrityor Mrityum Namamyaham in Sanskrit, where it says that, Paramatma aspect, or the functional aspect of God, is basically the death of death itself. And now, there are 4 different kinds of muktis or mokshas that have been connected to the Paramatma aspect. Okay, and in the Paramatma aspect, the self remains, means the small self, the Atma remains. So when all the Brahm Sayujya or the Sayujya Mukti or that Nirvikalpa has come and it has gone through and it's ended, then afterwards what happens? We realize we come into the Paramatma aspect of God. And in that, the first one is, now there should be an Atma to experience all these kind of muktis, right? So Atma needs to come back to its, somewhat come back to its localization in this way or that way, or this form or that form. Although, does that absorption, self-absorption ends 100%? No. The moment we close our eyes, we are gone forever. That is how it feels like. Just world does not exist. Nothing exists. The moment enlightened people or, Samadhi people close their eyes, the world is not there. Nobody is there actually. Nothing is there. It is like that. It's a beautiful thing. So that self-absorption state always stays. And it just comes to realization. If we close our eyes, it's not there. Nothing is there outside. And the first one that is part of the Paramatma aspect of Mukti is called as Sarshti. Okay, again I will spell it in the description box or on this video somewhere, so you do not end up looking for spelling or how to spell it or how to pronounce it. I'll put that in the video. So the Sarshti, in this kind of a Mukti, an Atma becomes abundant with everything. Now, usually people connect abundance with physical or material wealth or, money, finance, this, that. No, it's not just that. If you really truly want to understand, the abundance, what is abundance? There is a video that I created long back and it explains you actually what abundance truly is, how it connects to your physical body, what is abundance means for your physical body, what does abundance means for your pranic body, what does abundance means for your manomaya kosha, for your mental emotional body, what does abundance means for your vijnanamaya kosha, what does abundance means for your anandamaya kosha. So all your 5 body layers and sheaths, how does abundance apply to each one of them? And then life is basically about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. There is one video which I created to explain what is dharma, artha, kama, moksha, and it's the Mooladhara Chakra or root chakra video on my channel. So you can watch that if you want to understand what does it exactly mean. All four of these are also termed as 4 purusharthas. Okay, 4 efforts of human life. Okay, so all these 4 efforts, how does abundance apply to dharma aspect? How does abundance apply to the kama, the desire aspect? How does abundance apply to the artha or resourcefulness kind of an aspect? What does abundance means for the moksha kind of an aspect? So abundance in all your bodies, abundance for all kinds of efforts that through human life one may go through. It's such a wide meaning, such a huge meaning of abundance is there. It's unfathomable. The abundance itself is unfathomable at this stage, what one gets from Paramatma as a Sarshti Mukti, as part of becoming one with Paramatma. Okay, and then this is the first one, and then next one is Sarupya. So Sarupya means one becomes like Paramatma from the form. Now Paramatma's form cannot be, considered just about as if Paramatma has 4 hands or 10 hands or 2 legs or 1 nose or 2 eyes or 100 eyes or whatever. No physical aspect can be considered for. Although Paramatma is with form in this, in its form, in this aspect. It's Sagun and Sakar. So there is a form, yet that form does not look like human body or anything like that. If people draw the pictures of Mahavishnu and Vishnu, and it's so many stages and this and that, and they draw the figures like human and everything, but yet still, we cannot compare the physical body of Paramatma. Use the physical body of Paramatma when we are talking about Sarupya, means like physically, or from the Rupa. So the Rupa of Mahavishnu or Bhagwan should be understood from the efforts that human life is going to do when one is enlightened or one is in this kind of a mukti. And they are the 4 purusharthas, means 4 kinds of efforts, which are dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So now once one gets this kind of mukti, all the efforts are driven. Dharma setup is being done, dharma is being followed, or there are 10 or you can say 37 different, some scriptures define 10 aspects so that at least people can follow 10, but there are 37 different things that one must do or one must go through as part of following dharma. Or if you talk about Maharshi Patanjali, then dharma is yama, niyama and pratyahar, and pranayam and dharma. Dharma is all 8 limbs of yoga, right, for a yogi. So dharma has to be set up, dharma has to be one needs to uphold dharma, and all that is through the divine will. Earlier there was a will of an Atma, and even earlier that there was a will of all those identities that you have. Right? That's how you were functioning. If it's the dharma of a mother, if you have an identity of a mother or a father or a husband or a lover or wife or somebody's daughter or son or the friend or this or boss or employee, so many identities are there. So dharma was according to those identities. And when you walked your spiritual journey all the way, reached Samadhi, then there were no identities left, and then you were left with the true I, the real you, right? Which is just an Atma. So then dharma was according to Atma, and Atma's dharma, and at that level, at that stage, is just to merge with Paramatma. That is what the Atma's dharma was. Atma's dharma was to go on walking the journey until moksha is attained. That was Atma's dharma. Go on, get into that burning state of bhakti, no matter how much torturous it feels and how much an Atma, is getting burned or tortured, is dealing with all kinds of longing and painful separation, experiencing the separation from Paramatma. No matter what, Atma's dharma was to keep on going towards Paramatma in one way or the other. Through yoga, through bhakti, through gyan, through shakti, through this, through that. That is what Atma's dharma was. But now, neither the dharma of Atma nor the dharma of all those identities, when identities do not exist in themselves, then there's no point in having the dharma, doing the dharma setup according to the upholding the dharma for those identities. No. So the dharma is being upheld, or is being set up according to the divine will. That is what the meaning of Sarupya Mukti means. That is the first aspect. Second is Artha. Artha means all the resourcefulness that one had earlier. When for identities, you think, as a mother I need to have this, as a father I need to do this or have this or be resourceful for this thing or that thing. And then later on it became like in terms of Atma wanted to have resourcefulness so that Atma can comfortably go on walking their journey towards Paramatma, towards completing the Samadhi and attaining the Moksha. So Atma's resourcefulness was for that purpose. But now none of those exist. Instead, the Artha, the resourcefulness, exists as per the divine will. Whatever has to be done, for whatever the money is needed or resources are needed or this is needed or that is needed, it's divine will, it gets done. If something is not needed, then nothing gets done. That doesn't get done. I mean, there is no effort. You can say there is no will, though no personal will, no personal agenda, you can say, after enlightenment, after attaining this moksha. So Artha becomes divine driven, divine will driven. Okay. And then next is Kama. Kama means desires. So at first desires were all, being generated from that spiritual ignorance. I need to have a car or this or that or whatever. Now, when somebody attained Samadhi or was closer to Samadhi or was about to reach Samadhis, the desires were just related to bhakti, just related to jnana, just related to taking care of the body only to the extent that one is not attached to the body, but needs to retain the body in a solid way or powerful way so that moksha can be attained in this lifetime. And death or disease does not come to the body. So Atma's desires were like that. Atma's desires were to attend some satsang with the Guru. Atma's desires were to get initiated. Atma's desires were to, get enough money so that one can go on completing their duties and responsibilities, yet be able to walk their spiritual journey. Atma's desires were to read this or understand this or know this or know that or, get into much more sadhana or spiritual practices to basically have the knowledge of this, have knowledge of that, or realize this ananda, realize that. So those were all Atma's desires. And then now, after you attain this Sarupya Mukti, or you can say you finish your Nirvikalpi Samadhi, through this Mukti, this kind of moksha, the desires and will is of divine. So all desires are divine's desires. Many times, some seekers will call me. And I'll not pick up their phone. Some people email me, I'll not answer. Some people will ask something here and there and I may not answer. And people may think I'm purposefully doing it. No, I am not. I have no personal thing with anybody, right? I don't know person A, person B, person C, person D, and I'm not making any kind of differentiation either. It is just happening that way. And then I have to explain them that, maybe you are not ready to have that answer, right? You might be asking question, or you might want to have a shoulder to cry, or you might want to debate with me or, discuss something with me. But what I have to give you in that very moment, you are not ready for that. And until you are ready, that answer is not going to happen to you. That jnana is not going to happen to you. For me personally, there is no difference between person A, person B, C, D and all those people. There's nothing called as, one is favorite or another one is my own favorite or this is supreme favorite. No, there's no categorization of things like that. It is just happening that way. Whatever I am performing, wherever I am performing, or whatever is getting done, or whatever is not getting done, you cannot call that my desire. It's not. Everything is working. Understand that everything becomes a divine will, a divine desire, whether something happens or does not happen. How does that matter to an Atma? An Atma who has attained moksha, or self-realization has happened. How does something getting done or not getting done impacts them? Nothing. One is in Ananda. If anything gets done, they will still be in Ananda. And Brahma Sayujya, in the self-absorption with Brahm. And if nothing gets done, they will still be in that state. Is the state changing because of something getting done or not getting done? No, there is no state change after attaining self-realization, after attaining Mukti and Moksha. Nothing is changing. Is there any upheaval? No. Are there any disturbances? No. Nothing like that. So you may think that, because there is nothing that we command. No. A lot of time when I am giving gyan, different kind of wisdom to people, even I don't know that I know that. Only after telling you, only after making a video, I know that I know that. So you see, whatever is coming out through me, it's all divine will. So never think I have personally anything with you, or one person is favorite than the other person. No. Okay? So this is Sarupya's Kama part. Okay? Sarupya Mukti's impact on Kama, desires. And last one is Moksha. So Sarupya Moksha, Sarupya Mukti, that is the final part. This is what it means. All the 4 Purusharthas are given by Parmatma. All these 4 functions means 100% divine will starts functioning in one's life. This is what exactly, if you want to detail down what is meant by divine will, then this is what is meant by divine will. Means having dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all 4 efforts or 4 drivers of human life are now being divine will driven. Okay. Last one is Samipya. Samipya means closeness to the God. This is very easy to understand, right? One stays in the closeness to the God forever, to the Paramatma forever. Does that experience ever goes away? No, it does not. Does that Ananda ever goes away as a result of Paramananda that we got, or the Brahmananda that we got from Sayujya Mukti? Does that ever leaves you? No, it does not. It never leaves you. It keeps you intoxicated all the time. And no matter however many harsh, hard things are happening around, that Ananda is still there. How many difficult situations one is facing, that Brahmananda and Paramananda are always there. So that is what we get from the Paramatma aspect of. So these 4 muktis, 4 mokshas from the Paramatma aspect, and then the Sayujya from the Brahma aspect. So this covers all the aspects of Paramatma. Now what do we get from when one is in bhakti with the Bhagwan? With the Bhagwan you can get gyan, you can have bhakti towards them, but Bhagwan does not give anybody directly any moksha, is not responsible for. And if you want to understand what do we call as Bhagwan, then you need to watch that previous video where I have explained that any avatar, incarnation of this Mahavishnu or Paramatma, or incarnation of one supreme reality, or the Guru that we can call Bhagwan, anybody who possesses 6 qualities that are defined is considered as a Bhagwan. Some people consider their parents as Bhagwan. Some people consider their Guru as Bhagwan. So Guru can be Bhagwan. All the avatar of Mahavishnu that have happened, the Paramatma that have happened, like Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram, Vara avatar, and Narsimha avatar, and any avatar, all the avatars that we had, all are the Paramatma's avatar, are all Bhagwans. And then all the Shaktis are from Paramatma. Shaktis cannot be termed as Bhagwan. Shaktis never come to the that much of a gross or physical form. Right? Shaktis always stay in the subtle dimensions, because Paramatma is way much more subtler than Bhagwan aspect. So it's one supreme being, but three different aspects. Brahm, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So I hope this, helps you understand all kinds of different kinds of moksha and mukti. But again, don't do any kind of mental gymnastic over all these things. You can read about them. Based on these different kinds of mukti and moksha, a lot of people try to, come up with, invent new different kinds of samadhis as well. But again, I would say no need to confuse yourself by reading all the text and stuff. If you ever want to read about samadhis, moksha and kaivalyam state and everything, then you can, the best thing is Yoga Darshan to read by Maharshi Patanjali. It's least confusing. No confusion happens while reading it. It's much more straightforward. And after, even if you do not want to read it, that's fine. Just experience it. Know it that way. Gyan of wisdom of yoga happens through yoga. So you need to be in divine union and divine merger in Brahm, Sayujya, or all these four Mukti, Moksha. You have to be in Nirvikalpi Samadhi, and then you will know everything. And a lot of people just watch videos here and there, and please do not come to me and tell me this. Why is this guru or that anchor or that person is saying this about what you said this and this said that? Don't do all that. I do not have time to watch all those videos. Hundreds of videos I get sent by people. Do not send me all those videos. I'm not going to watch them. Do not have time. And then if you have question, ask that on those videos. On my videos, you can ask me questions what I am saying about. And again, I would say, do not just rely on my videos or YouTube videos or anybody else's videos when it comes to wisdom. Rely on two more things. One is read the textbooks, proper books. That is first thing. And second thing is be in that state. Pursue your yogic journey, spiritual journey, very seriously, very religiously. And be in that state to know it. Be in that kind of a samadhi to know it. Attain that kind of a mukti or moksha and then know it. Do not just rely on videos or guru's words or this or that. Nowhere it is written that, you should just rely on guru's word. Wisdom comes in so many forms. Wisdom comes from so many sources. Be ready to learn. Open yourself so much that you are ready to learn from anybody and everybody. And complete your spiritual journey as quickly as possible. Okay? Namaste. Jai Shiva.